What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of B is for Build. We are working on the Lotus Evora, but you probably already know that because it's in the title. In this episode, we're going to be focused on the rear bulkhead. Now that we have our side panel, we can use that as a mold or a guide to extend our rear bulkhead out to match up with that where they're supposed to mate. And we're not going to be fiberglassing them together. We're actually going to purposely fiberglass them so there's a gap and we can seal them together with a polyurethane adhesive like we do OEM, or like the OEM guys did it, OEM. Right, correct. And on the side, we're gonna be working on things like the door, hopefully finishing up the door and any other parts that need fiberglass repair. And I don't know how far we'll get, but if we get that far, we'll also start digging into the front clamshell. That's what's in store. Stay tuned. All right, why don't we start off with some news? So this piece, the rear hatch, was pretty badly damaged. So I contacted Frank out in New York, who's got a Lotus that he's parting out and giving me some of the parts. And I decided to buy his. So this piece, I'm gonna save it. I don't know what car this will ever go on, but I have some sort of weird feeling that we might be able to reuse it for something very unique. So I'm gonna throw it up in the rafters, AKA our storage facility. I got a rear bumper diffuser thing up there. And we'll throw it up there and hang on to it in case in the future, if we're doing any sort of rat rod or something that needs an awesome hatch, we'll keep it there. And now I'm gonna walk over to the door and start repairs on the door. All right, the door is coming along great. This is par for the course for me. It normally takes me about 3 tries with the body filler, and then I come back in with high filler primer. You can really see that there's not a whole lot of body fillers like living past the first sand. You know, you sand it almost all of it back down, and you just take, you know, keep the low spots. Come back in, real thin coat. So we're still under a, I think actually on the can it says you can go up to 1/4 of an inch, but we're way less than that. We're probably less than 1/16 of an inch. In the majority of the places, which is good. You don't really want to have a lot of this stuff on here. Anyways, it's all going good. I was sitting here looking at doors and I was thinking, like, what do doors even do? And then I remembered, I've driven a car without a door, and they definitely keep a lot of air off of you, as well as rocks. Rocks suck when you drive without doors in a low car. They will fly at you. So that's what this is. This is a big rock and air guard, which begs the question, why is it not called a windshield? Because that's what a door really is it shields you from the wind, but you can't have 2 windshields. Anyways, so we're over here now, next, working on the rear bulkhead, and this test fit is really close, but if you peek down there, you can kind of see, I'll show you, you can see through there. It needs to be a little bit more snug, so we're gonna find a way to press it down that 1 more millimeter. And what we're gonna do, this is just my gut on how I think I should approach this, is I'm gonna wax this thing, so in case any fiberglass gets stuck to it, it'll come back off. And then I'm gonna cover it and build a little bit of a buffer, because you want a little space between the side panel and the rear bulkhead. That's where the polyurethane goes. So I'm gonna cover it with some sort of padding or something that hopefully the fiberglass won't completely mold to. And I'm gonna cover all the way around, and this is our line where we're gonna try and build out to. You can see on the other one, it goes through the corner dip and then out on this line here. So we're gonna go through the corner, out on the line. This is gonna be roughly our stopping point. And then, so I'm gonna pull the side panel off, do all that work on it, and then I'm gonna come in here while the side panel's off, clean all this stuff up the best I can, get rid of the loose ends of the fiberglass, sand everything down, and basically prepare it for fiberglassing. Then I'm gonna fiberglass the hell out of this whole corner, and hopefully when I'm done, the side panel will just come right back off, and I'll be left with something that looks, it's definitely not gonna look like that, but it'll be shaped similarly. I don't know, let's give it a shot. When selecting which wax to use on your Lotus Evora, I suggest Carolina Candles Cozy Vanilla. Okay, this might have been a stupid idea, but I really don't care because it smells fantastic. Okay, we got this part all taped up. About halfway through, I realized the cardboard might be kind of a silly idea. So I made the cardboard just real thin to give me a little bit of extra gap in some of the places where I want to have a lot of that polyurethane adhesive. But other than that, I just went ahead and covered it up so I know I can fiberglass over it safely. Now that that's done, we need to come over here and start cleaning up all the edges, get all this foam out of here, all these edges up here, up top, tons of cleanup, and then we got to cover up this piece right here so we don't accidentally fiberglass on any of this metal, which is definitely bound to happen with us working this closely. Cleanup went really well on this piece. We trimmed off all the excess fiberglass, got a bunch of the junk out of here, and trimmed some of the edges, and it's turning out really nice. I'm looking forward to the time when we support it from the backside and do a couple more supporting layers, and we can actually clean this up for good, because I think it's going to turn out really nicely. So I forgot that we do need to protect the backboard of this as well, so I'm going to throw a layer of tape on it, and then I'm going to throw a layer of scented wax over that, just in case. And I mean, it smells so good, what can you lose? So once we have that all protected, actually first I'm going to clean this up with degreaser and stuff to get all the dust and particle off of it, tack rag it down and everything, then protect the backboard. Then we're going to start laying fiberglass. All right, things are shaping up. It's go time. That is covered in tape and waxed. This is waxed on the backside and then covered on tape. This is all cleaned up and nice. So I'm going to mix up some resin and start just laying strips connecting the two pieces as best as I can mimic over here. And then we can work on build up and stuff after we get one nice good coat that starts to firm up. So it's go time. Okay, the first layup is done. It went on real nice. I think this is really going to turn out really well, so I'm happy that we're doing this. So we kind of went up through here, onto here, started doing some build up on here, because remember, we're going to need to get 1/8 of an inch thick on this whole area through here. So started doing a little build up there, a little bit back here, and over here, and we bridged from there to there, and then we did a little bit back there. It all went on real nicely, and that's as far as I was able to get before my resin started drying up on me. So all in all, it went really well. Now we're gonna move back over to the door. Okay, here we are back on our door. I threw that last layer of Bondo on, tried to make it real uniform and cross back over both of these. So I'm gonna grab my flat sander again and sand everything down and see if we need another layer of Bondo. We might just need some Bondo in some small spots, or we might need a full another layer. And I'll either do that or I'll do some filler primer in the end. Gotta grab my respirator. I forgot my respirator when I was doing fiberglass, and that's not good. It's like huffing paint for 20 minutes. Looks to me like I am in need of round 3 with the body filler. Got some pinholes, some scratch marks, and some other deeper gouges that I want to fill in before I move on to using filler primer. Up here is pretty jacked up too. This is going to be a working area right here because there's a bit of a lip and it's not really wanting to sand down without sanding down the rest of the car material. So up here, filling pinholes and scratches, so a real light application rather than the big wider one that we did right here is what I'm going to do, and then I'll start with the filler primer. Okay, we've given this plenty of time to set up. It's really looking good. It's really conforming. It's following the body lines perfectly. I'm really happy with the way that this is turning out. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a nice sanding, sand it down flush, and then we're gonna give it a coat of the high filler primer. Crazy how one coat of filler primer could show you how much work there is left to do. So you can see all the imperfections when the light bounces off of it. You can see the 2 angles there and the railing. that need to be they need a lot of cleanup. So although this is looking like it was looking in the last stage, like it was getting close, it's still, you can tell now that it's pretty far off. So I'm having a little bit of trouble with my sanding paper getting really clogged up really fast. And I think I need to use that big flat sanding surface to get a nice even surface across here all the way down. So I just gotta, I don't know, I'll do some Googling and see what I can figure out, but keep working with it and just keep swapping out sandpaper. All right, so while that's drying up, we're gonna move back over here. This is nice and dry, which is cool, and it's given us a lot of structure and that we can work with and keep building onto. It's going great though, so I'm gonna mix up another thing of resin and just lay some more strips down. All right, well that last layup went on really well. I found out that leaving out about 1/10 of the percent of hardener that I was putting in actually allowed my resin to stay usable for a lot longer, and it will still harden up. It's just gonna take a little bit longer, but that's fine by me because I was able to lay up way more pieces of fiberglass and have less waste. So that was great. The next few things that I have to do are just bouncing between the door and that and the door and that and going back and forth and back and forth. So I'm gonna leave that out, just because it's going to get monotonous if it's not already, and I'll come back when I have some progress. Okay guys, just like I said I wasn't going to do, I want to give you a quick update. So this went really well this last sanding session, and that was because of wet sanding. So I switched from dry sanding to wet sanding, and since I'm still trying to be a little bit DIY on this channel, I want to explain why. So you have this very flat surface and you have a very flat sander, and you're moving back and forth in very linear motions. It does not give a lot of time or a lot of room or a lot of angles for the excess sandpaper dust or the sanded dust to escape from under your sandpaper. So what happens is it bundles up underneath your sandpaper, clogs up, makes a little ball, and that's stuck to the bottom of your sandpaper. And then when you're sanding, basically you're just rubbing a ball of paint up and down on your surface, which is not good at all, and that can actually damage the surface. So you have to throw away your sandpaper at that point once it gets all gummed up. But with wet sanding, what you can do is you throw down a little bit of water, use sandpaper that's designed for wet sanding, which it'll say on your package, and then when you go back and forth, the water acts as a lubricant. It keeps the dust as dust particles, doesn't let them bind together, and then it's easier to wipe away and get off of your surface that way. So I switched to wet sanding and it went way better. With one piece of sandpaper, I was able to clear this whole surface, and being able to do those motions and not have the bundled up actually made me be able to get a better level surface as well. So this is actually really awesome. So I'm gonna run down to the store and double down on my wet sanding materials, and I'm gonna be wet sanding this from here on out. Alrighty, well this has been going really good. We've hit it with high filler primer and sanded it back down 2 or 3 times. And what I wanted to go ahead and do is update you guys. So we're at the point now where I need to tack rag it and then hit it again with high filler primer. I'm gonna do that, and then we'll show you guys the results, because when it's nice and glossy and that high filler primer is drying, that's when you can really see a lot of the imperfections. I can see like one right here. But I wanted to do that just to show you guys and give you a little update on how the door is looking. Okay, so sorry I have to have my respirator on for this, but here's what we're looking at. When we look at this top rail, we've got a few little low spots right there in the angled part of the rail and on the close left and close right side. Some of those are just texture, but some of them are showing a little bit. Now in the middle, we're looking pretty good. Mostly just texturing things. It doesn't look too bad there. And then our railing is gonna need some help. So you can see, trying to bounce the light a little bit to do it some justice. So you can see a divot right there where the light's reflecting, and like one right there. So the railing needs a little bit of help, or I don't know, I'm calling this a railing, but you can see, I mean, I'm talking about that right there and some of that right there. But we're getting close. We're actually we're getting pretty close to a good spot with this. I mean, those things can be worked out pretty easily. I might even come in with some body filler for the bigger ones. Like that one is big enough, you know, you might be able to use some body filler, or I could just hit it hard with the sandpaper. So, coming together nicely. Definitely happy with that. So the next thing we're gonna do is come over here and start work on our clamshell. So this is our clamshell. It's got some damage right here in the front that's pretty significant. That's gonna be a big focus point. It's got some damage right here. It's got a crack right here in a really interesting spot. And then it's got some damage right here and some damage back there. So all I want to do with this right now is pretty simple. I want to go ahead and get this, there's a clear protective vinyl on here. I want to get that off. I want to get all the residue off. I want to get it all cleaned up. And then I want to identify any damaged spots with my paint pen so I know where I'm going to be working. And then if we have time, I might go ahead and get some of this cleaned up. Okay, I'm sitting here sweating. That was ridiculously hard to get off. I don't know if you could tell by the video how bad I was struggling. That stuff was really on there. That's it's not fun stuff to remove. Something to keep in mind if you think about vinyl wrapping your car. It's not really easy to unvinyl wrap your car. So that's all off. It left behind all this residue everywhere. When I rub the dust into these things, they start to show up everywhere where the vinyl left its sticky stuff behind. We got to clear off. So I'm gonna grab all the materials that I have that I know work well for removing sticky residue. I know my paint prep stuff works well, but I probably don't have enough of that. But I'm gonna grab whatever I can and start cleaning this thing up. Well, this thing wins the most frustrating part of the day award. Removing all that gunk was ridiculous pain and it took a long time and I didn't get quite all of it, but oh well, moving on. So I've developed a language for defining damage. Arrows are cracks or major damage and dotted lines are scratches. Yeah, logic. So anyways, got some scratches, big damage spot right there. We knew about that. Little damage spot on the corner there. Coming around, we have our crack right here in the corner and some subsequent cracks. We have some hairline cracks right here, which will be interesting. I'll see if I can, what happens if I like sand down, maybe I can sand those down or something like that. Bunch of scratches along the side, big scratch crack thing there, one tiny one down there. The rest of the top of the thing was pretty good quality, no blemishes or anything like that. This corner is jacked. No, these wheels aren't for sale. And back here, a bunch of scratches. Sorry, I'm climbing over tools. A bunch of scratches back here. Nothing too major. So scratches will all come out pretty quickly with a little sanding and body filler action, maybe a little resin if we need to. But the cracks, you know, cracks are gonna be tough. So I don't even want to look at this part for the rest of the day. I'm so tired of that thing. The next thing I'm gonna do is, before we close up shop for today, I'm gonna throw another coat on our, what's this thing called? Bulkhead. Gonna put another coat of fiberglass on the bulkhead. It feels right. All right, guys, I am calling it a night. That was an extraordinary amount of work with very little to show for it. But I hope you guys still enjoyed watching. I'm trying to keep this as entertaining as I can, but some of the stuff is pretty monotonous. You know, like sand, paint, sand, paint, sand, paint, paint, sand. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Thanks for making it this far. Right after I leave here, I'm packing up and I'm going camping with my family. So rather than having a midweek episode on the Evora, I need a little R&R. So I'm gonna be out camping. But I do want to film something. So it's been a long time since we've done any question and answer. We're gonna do an AMA this time. So it's not just questions, it can be any question. So the BS for Build AMA is gonna be happening. Leave any questions you have in the comments. And guys, if you see another question from somebody that you like, upload it and I will answer all of those questions. Well, I'm gonna keep it a little shorter than last time, but I'm gonna answer a bunch of them while I'm out. And then we'll have an episode. And if I can, I'll Photoshop one of your guys' rides as well, but midweek there won't be another Evora one. And if you're just watching through the Evora playlist and you have no idea what I'm talking about, time to go to the next episode. Thank you guys very much for watching. God, I said that 4 times. That's how much I mean it. If you want to find us at more places, social media, you can find us at facebook.com/BSforBuild, and we are BS for Build on Instagram. And if you enjoy watching BS for Build and you want to support the channel, head over to bsforbuild.com. click the link to the shop and go down to the shop and pick up anything. Buying anything in the shop, all the proceeds go directly towards this channel. There's no middleman. I do all the packaging, designing of the products, ordering of the products. I love hanging out with people from China, figuring out how to make koozies. Not that I don't like the Chinese. God, this is going great. Let's see if this makes it through the edit. Anyways, so yes, bsforbuild.com has all sorts of great BS for Build merchandise, and I love it when you guys buy it. Other than that, we have a Patreon, and I think that's about all you can do to support. High five me when you see me at the grocery store. That's about it. Thank you guys very much for watching. Oh, one great way you can support, hit the like button, guys. I like it when you like it, and the videos do much better if you guys like it. It helps us in the ranks and other things like that. It helps BS for Build grow. And I know a lot of you guys want to see that, so the next car can be a Ferrari. What? And please subscribe. Peace!
So right, so right.